Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back for another episode, but this time we are traveling to a place that is very close by to you, yet many people don't even know about this. And we have come to the village of Tivim in Bardez, where you see a beautiful church dedicated to Saint Christopher, who incidentally happens to be the patron saint of travelers. So we have traveled into this place from Panjim via the highway, that is NH66, where you have to take a turn near the Karaswada junction, past the industrial estate, and then you come across the ground of Tivim and you cannot miss the church. And here there is something which we are bringing to you thanks to the comments that have been sent to us by one Mr. Joy Menezes, who wanted us to do a feature, an episode on My Goem about the Tivim and Colvale fort. Were you even aware that there was a fort there? Thank you, Mr. Menezes. We are now going to bring to you the fort of Colvale and Tivim, which is spread over a distance of almost about 1.5 kilometers. So we will not waste time. We will see what is this fort of Colvale and Tivim and how important it was in the defense of the Portuguese lands. So let's not waste time. Let's go down and see all this. But don't miss out to see and stop near the Church of Saint Christopher. So ladies and gentlemen, you have seen that there is a river over here, that a rivulet rather, a tributary, which is flowing from here and passing down to my left in front of the Church of Saint Christopher. Now this particular rivulet separates the Bardez area from the other side, the Bicholi area. And this belonged to the Portuguese, and that land across this rivulet belonged to the Marathas. There was a need for them to protect their lands, and they constructed forts, 4 forts, starting from 1635 during the reign of the Count of Linares, and ended up in 1710, and they constructed 4 different forts connected with a long wall to protect their lands from the Marathas. But the Marathas took over this land, and that I am going to show you as I am showing the fort. But ladies and gentlemen, when you come from Mapsa going towards Bicholi, understand one thing, that on either sides of Saint Christopher's Church is the fort or the fort wall or the fortifications of the Colvale Thivim fort. So we have now come from the Saint Christopher's Church at Tivim, and we have come on the south side of the highway or the MDR, and this ward is called as the Dhanwa ward. The St. Anne's High School is over here, and just before that there is a Y junction. Now you have to stop over there and get down. Now the reason why I have brought you all here is because many times we go onto the hills or we pass by a lot of things, little realizing how important certain aspects are. And what is very, very important in this are these 2 lines that you see over there. These 2 lines tell you a story, and that is, this was a highway of the past. These are the tracks that have been created with the continuous movement of bullock cart and horse carriages that had a metal ring around it. All the carts that were coming from Aldona or Mapsa or anywhere, they were all coming from here, and this is what has happened. You can see the tracks over here and you can see the track over here. Very important, because this is about the transportation system of the past, and we will walk to the fort of Thivim. There I am going to show you something else. So ladies and gentlemen, after walking through all this shrubbery, the thorns and whatnot, the grass, beautiful grass, we have come to one end of the fort, that is the Thivim fort. And ladies and gentlemen, as I walk, my cameraman, Mr. Shirish, is going to focus on a fort that is right here, so near, yet so far for all us Goans. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the fort of Tivim. I am standing here in this beautiful archway, which at one time was the entrance to this part of the fort. Today, it's in a very, very bad shape because we, the Goans, the Goenkars, talk about Goenkarpan, but like this space, it's all hollow. We are not taking care of what we should protect, our past. This is rich heritage. The very entrance to this heritage is blocked. And this particular entrance led to an upper area. Possibly there were rooms down. Right now everything has fallen off over here. Now I have literally, officially entering this fort of Thivim. Ladies and gentlemen, in this my program of My Goem, from these people I can see a lot of enemies. Who? Us. We are the biggest enemies of our own heritage. Built in 1635 to protect these lands against the Marathas. Just below here is the Thivim river. And I am not going to stand here for a long time because I don't know whether this heritage is going to take anger against me and drop a stone from top. You also, please don't be too adventurous. Take care of yourself because these are very leafy areas, good hiding places for our beautiful reptile friends. Wear shoes, non-slippery shoes. Wear long pants because there are a lot of thorns on the way. And don't be adventurous, okay? And stop vandalism of our heritage. Got the message? Just next to this entrance gate, this is a platform about a story high. And below here, you can see a tunnel that normally would go down to the river. And just for your information, they would never store ammunition on top. And they always created a space down, a storeroom down, a stronghold down, where all the ammunition would be stored because in case the enemy attacked, that ammunition should not come in contact with fire or fall in the hands of the enemies. And in the middle of this, there is a depression, possibly these are steps going down, which may have led to the storage room or to a barrack down. The name of this particular fort on the Thivim side is called Nossa Senhora de Livramento de Thivim. In present times, we can relate this name to a hall which is over here, which is called as the Livramento Hall. But please come, show your moog to this heritage of ours. So here we are, next to the fort, the Nossa Senhora de Livramento de Thivim, built somewhere in 1710. And this, I told you, from top we could see a tunnel. And here this tunnel opens out at the other end. Could it have been kept for escape? We don't know. But what you must see is that at that time the tunnel must have been very dark, and they have got certain niches on the side where they would be keeping the oil lamp. I would not advise any one of you to go in this tunnel because it has collapsed. There are a lot of porcupines, lot of reptiles, and our good non-limbed friends called as these fellows. I will not tell you the name, you know. So please don't go inside this tunnel, okay? But when you come here, stand on top and see this tunnel. That depression that you saw on the upper part opens out over here, possibly for use of gunpowder. Now, why I say this is we have come behind the fort towards the river, and I am sitting down in a place which is semicircular roofed, and possibly with all intentions the gunpowder was stored over here. We don't know, this may have been used for staying also. Directorate of Archives, Tourism Department, take care of this fort. Are you listening? Hello? So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the Colvale end of the Tivim fortification, and I am sitting on something that is very unique and something that is threatened by the development of Goa right now, and that is the Dorne. These Dorne were masonry platforms that were made during the Gaonkari system here in Goa. They used to carry loads on their head, and they would walk from one place to another. They would get tired and they would rest their head loads on this. But this particular Dorne is very unique, and I must really thank the people of this area for protecting this. And that is, they would keep the thing here and they would sit down here and rest. You have seen one more Dorne when we did the Diwar episode. Okay, now behind me you can see the ruins of the Fort São Miguel de Colvale. Possibly it was named so because of a chapel that is over here which is dedicated to Saint Michael or São Miguel. So let us go in and see this cute little chapel of Saint Michael, which celebrates its feast on the 29th of September. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular fort was constructed in the year 1635. Rest of the things of the fort, let's go up there and find out. This was the entrance to the fort. It starts from here and ends in Tivim, and on the way there were two more fortifications which we'll see again, but today you can see there's a lovely cross over here, and let us enter this place, see how nicely it is there, and see the different facets which are still existing inside this fort. Follow me. So here I am on the fort of São Miguel de Colvale. Now this particular fort was built by the Conde de Linares. You all are very familiar with this term because he built also the Pont de Linares, the Ribandar Causeway. And his name was Do Miguel de Noronha, and he built this in 1635. Now the reason why he had to build this particular fort was the Marathas were very active during that particular time, and somewhere around 1667 some of the Desais of Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji, who was the ruler of the Marathas, they defrauded him of some taxes and some money, and it was said that they ran away and they came and they hid in Bardez. Now Bardez was being defended by this fort, and later up to 1710 when they built on the other side, it defended Portuguese lands from the Maratha lands. This particular fort is now being preserved by the Directorate of Archives and Archaeology. They have been kind enough to give us permission to shoot all this and bring it to all of you. We have entered from the main gate and we have come inside. This is a ground plus one. From here I can get a beautiful view that side, which I will show it to you. And very close by here, there is a big aqueduct that brings water from the dams to these places, the fields. But I want you to come inside over here and see where they stored the ammunition and what is the view that you can see from here. That the Portuguese built this particular fort, their fears were not unfounded. In the year 1667, Keshav Prabhu, one of the Desais, who took shelter this side, made Shivaji very furious. So to teach him a lesson and very angry that the Portuguese had given him the shelter, Shivaji came down with almost 30,000 foot soldiers and about 700-800 horse army, and they camped at Bicholim. Bicholim was their main base. From there he visited the Saptakoteshwar temple. Watch my Sri Saptakoteshwar episode, the journey of Sri Saptakoteshwar. And when he attacked, it is said that there was a Franciscan church over here, institution over here. The rector of this Franciscan institution, Fray Manuel de Saint Bernardine, he came out and tried to stop them, and it is said that Shivaji or his forces put this priest to sword. This led a lot of fear amongst all the Portuguese people and the army over here, and they ran away from here. And it is said that Shivaji went inside from here and camped outside Fort Aguada almost for about 2 months. But it is said that Fort Aguada is the only fort that was never taken over along with Reis Magos. He waited there with his army for 2 long months, but that fort did not give up. And then he returned back. But the Marathas later on, somewhere in 1739, took over this fort, but they could hold it for 2 years. It was taken away from them by Luis Menezes. Now, this is not the only fort. From here, they constructed, because the river Tivim goes down here, they constructed 3 more other forts than this. So, along with this fort, which is called as San Miguel the Colvale, the last fort over here, which ends in Tivim, is called as Fort de Nossa Senhora de Livramento de Tivim. And in between, there were 2 more, Saint Tome and Fort de Nossa Senhora de Assunção. And one of them, possibly, we don't find a trace. But what we will do is we will go along this fortification wall and see how long it is from here. There is a fortification in the middle, but we can't make out what that thing is because it is not well kept. But in this particular fort, which is taken care of by the Directorate of Archives and Archaeology, we can see the ammunition room, we can see the rooms, the barracks that were here, and we can see a well which is very, very deep. And from here, they kept an eye on the forces that came from that side. But somewhere around 1841, they discarded these forts because the threat of the Marathas had diminished totally. And just for your information, this entire fort line, these 4 forts, you can imagine what importance they gave. There were 43 cannons on this fortification wall. So can you imagine how much importance they gave? If they gave so much of an importance, why are you not giving any importance to this? Please come. It is just 5 kilometers away from Mapsa, and Mapsa is about 13 to 14 kilometers from Panjim. It is hardly a 20-kilometer drive, but you can drive from here, seeing all this, and come out at Thivim. Don't miss this opportunity. This heritage is going to waste because we are not coming up over here, we are not appreciating, we are not showing our affection and love to it. We are simply saying that we are Goekars and Goans. Won't help us. The schools, the education institutions, the NSS volunteers, they should be roped in, or they should volunteer to the Directorate of Archives to come here and lend a hand to keeping this place clean. Take off all the grass from here. Simple things, nothing major. But what we see here is misuse of this property because we find broken glasses, we have plastic water bottles. That is not a very healthy sign. So ladies and gentlemen, the fort of San Miguel de Colvale and its subsidiary forts is all awaiting you to come and visit them. Will you? When I came to do the shoot of the Colvale Thivim fort, I got a pleasant surprise, and that was one of my students who is also a resident of this place. She volunteered to come up here, but let us find out from her. Her name is Arilda D'Souza. Welcome to my program called as My Goem, Arilda.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Arilda, tell me, you have been born and brought up in this village.
Yes.
And have you seen all these forts?
Not really. I only saw this fort. I was not aware about the previous fort.
Okay.
I only knew about the tunnel, but I did not know that there was a fort over there.
Okay. You only heard about the
Yes,
tunnel. From
I
whom
only
did you hear?
From my dad.
From your dad.
Yes.
And are there people in this place? Because we find that they are not well taken care of.
Yes.
But you have got schools over here, you have got a panchayat over here. Do you think that an effort by the younger generation can help the Directorate of Archives to maintain our heritage?
Of course, according to me, the young generation is the one who's going to take Goa to the next level. So if we put our foot forward and do something to hold back the cultural traditions of Goa, I think it will really be great.
So ladies and gentlemen, that is a message coming straight from the heart of a person from the younger generation. You will not believe how much our children are hungry for the heritage of our land. Arilda has put that into the words. So she is going to tag along and see the fort because there is a need to empower this generation about my heritage. So let's say a big thank you to her. Thank you, Arilda.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the
this is another bastion when you are coming from San Miguel fort, that small little fort, and going down towards Tivim. You can make out that this bastion is here because there is a beautiful thick wall on the roadside, and there is one road that goes down, that goes over that little stream of river where today the people are washing their vehicles and clothes. But this had a room, possibly a cover, and this is the middle part of the fort. Watch from here. Between the Colvale and the Thivim fort, there were two other fortifications. But at this point, the river tributary has passed through from here, and there was a need for this also to be protected. So you can see a fortification over here. Today, they have constructed a road. I can see that it has been rising up. And there was the gentleman, Antonio Lopes Mendes, who came here somewhere in 1863, and he has written a beautiful book called as A India Portuguesa. And in that, he has shown fortifications that are quite high over here. So in case the enemy was trying to enter here, then they could be stopped. When you pass this place, see this, because there is a beautiful river on either side. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, come to the end of this trip or travel to Tivim, where we have shown you the forts of Tivim and Colvale. There is also a beautiful church over here, but we will do that church at a later stage. I am sure you have liked this. Possibly, there may be a lot of other inputs we had to give you, but because of time constraints, we cannot do that. But if you have anything to tell us, like Mr. Joy Menezes has told us, write on the email that is over here. Convey to us that you want us to cover certain heritage aspects, historic aspects in your villages and in your towns. So, please watch this on Prudent Media. The name of the program is My Goem. Please do write to us. I am just repeating again, write to us. And here we say at the end of the travel, bye bye, Moga Suni.